On tonight's Wales at 6. A sad day for Welsh politics as Labour MS Hefin David dies suddenly. The First Minister leads tribute, saying he will be greatly missed.
The Labour family is devastated by the sudden loss of Hefin David, and our thoughts go out to his family and friends at this incredibly difficult time.
Also tonight, not mincing his words, the shopkeeper at the end of his tether with people stealing his livelihood. Plus, on the eve of A-level results, we'll have advice for those who might have a bright future as an apprentice.
And I'll be digging into the centuries-old tradition of cockling to get a taste of the Welsh delicacy.
Hello, good evening. Tributes to a committed, passionate and much-loved politician have been made after the news that member of the Senedd, Hefin David, has died suddenly. Mr David represented his hometown constituency of Caerphilly for nearly 10 years and campaigned on topics like support for those with additional learning needs. Gwent Police confirmed they are not treating his death as suspicious. Well, our reporter Hamish Auskerry joins me now from outside the Senedd. Hamish, some really tragic news.
John, tonight the Senedd is in mourning after the sudden and tragic death of a very well-respected member of our national parliament. Today, the flags fly at half-mast following the confirmation from Gwent Police that officers attended a property in Nelson in Caerphilly County last night just before 7 p.m, following which a man was pronounced dead. We now know that was Dr. Hefin David, a politician and campaigner whose death has prompted an outpouring of tributes.
I think that is a significant achievement.
A politician with passion, a natural communicator, Hefin David was also never afraid to use humour to make his point.
Many have tried and many have failed. They've united two-thirds of this chamber around Lee Waters.
His voice in the Senedd will be missed, not least by his colleague Eluned Morgan. The First Minister, visibly shaken at the news of his sudden death, paid tribute to him this morning.
The Labour family is devastated by the sudden loss of Hefin David, and our thoughts go out to his family and friends at this incredibly difficult time. Hefin was an outstanding member for his constituency of Caerphilly. He was an enthusiastic member of the Senedd and contributed brilliantly to our committees. Our thoughts go out to all of those who are affected by this tragedy.
David is duly elected as the member of the Senedd.
First elected in 2016, Hefin David won re-election to the Welsh Parliament in 2021. Having previously served as a local councillor, his passion for Caerphilly never wavered. And his political campaigns were also driven by personal experience. After one of his daughters was diagnosed with autism, Hefin fought for reform on support for people with additional learning needs.
He was most passionate perhaps about ALN. You know, he certainly gave such a big and strong commitment. He was always keen to reach beyond the Labour family, so to speak, trying to get that cross-party consensus. And I think sometimes, you know, in politics these days, that can get overlooked, and, you know, Hefin will go down, I think, you know, as somebody who tried to get the best for people, no matter who they represented and no matter what their political views were.
Councillor Jamie Pritchard has known Hefin David for 17 years. Not just as a Labour colleague, but as a close friend too.
He was always keen to sort of have a little laugh and a joke with members of other political parties in a nice way. You know, he wasn't a combative person against any other particular political party. He was just an all-round good bloke, and it's just so sad to hear this news.
As a backbencher, Hefin David was free to speak his mind, an opportunity he rarely gave up. Such was his regularity as a guest on Sharp End. He even joked about his dream of presenting the show, and he got a taste of it during Rob Osborne's final show last month.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. And seeing as it's your last Sharp End, it's only right that we look back at your time in the hot seat. Sit back and enjoy 5 years of Mr. Rob Osborne. Roll VT, Errol.
Dr. Hefin David leaves a rare legacy. A principled politician who was popular among political friends and opponents as much as he was among the constituents he was so proud to represent.
And Hamish, Hefin David, someone who was respected across the political spectrum, and those tributes today have certainly reflected that.
That's the mark of the man, John. The Labour Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, today described him as a powerful voice for the people of Wales and a committed public servant, but now also the people who routinely disagreed with him, politically speaking. The former leader of the Welsh Conservatives, Andrew R.T. Davies, said it was a heartbreaking and tragic death that someone so young with so much to offer to Wales and his community has passed away. Deleth Jewell, the Plaid MS, a political rival of Hefin David's in Caerphilly, described him as steadfast in his views, loyal to his roots, while also representing the area diligently. Hefin David wasn't in government, but he made a huge effort to represent his constituents in the building behind me and to drive change. But also, those closest to him say that he was also committed to communicating what goes on in this place and how it affects all of us, particularly during the pandemic when rules and regulations were changing all the time. He made a huge effort to make sure people were not left behind. Tragically, today would have been his 48th birthday. It should have been a day of celebration. Instead, today is a truly sad day for Welsh democracy, but of course, first and foremost for his friends, his family, and particularly his two daughters. His loss will leave an immeasurable void in their lives, and tonight our thoughts are with them.
Hamish Ouskary in Cardiff Bay, thanks very much indeed. Shoplifting has become an increasingly common sight on our high streets, costing businesses, owners and customers an estimated £2.2 billion every single year. On a visit to Cardiff today, it's something the Home Secretary says her government is tackling with an increase in visible local police officers. But with shoplifting offences reaching another record high earlier this year, are retailers feeling more protected from thieves? Our national correspondent Rob Osborne reports.
This sign caused a sensation. Vintage store owner Rob Davies put it up after he got so fed up of shoplifters.
It's about the whole culture in this country that it's acceptable to shoplift. So I can be a voice for every shopkeeper in the UK. I'm not trying to take on that mantle or anything, but it seems it's come down to me to have something to say about this. The most heartrending things I see in my shop when I go in every morning and tidy round and check all my rails are straight and that sort of thing is an empty coat hanger. That's like stabbing me in the guts, because I know something has gone yesterday and I didn't see it.
Today, Home Secretary Yvette Cooper was in Cardiff with a focus on community policing. But will more named contactable officers in every neighbourhood result in less shoplifting?
Far too often, where you got the lower value thefts, even if it was theft time after time after time, there was just no action taken. That's why we're getting rid of the £200 rule and putting neighbourhood police back into communities and working really closely with retailers and with police forces on how we specifically target town centre crime.
You don't have to go far to realise people's confidence in law and order has been shaken. This was the view on the same street as the Home Secretary was visiting.
Do you feel safe on the streets?
Not at all.
You don't feel safe?
No, not at all.
Why not?
There's too many drinkers on the bench and everything.
Do you feel safe on the streets?
No.
Not at all?
No, it's too many. It's too dangerous now. If you're frightened you're going to get robbed or something's going to happen to you. I stay at home.
But officers on the ground say they've been working hard to turn things around.
What are the issues that people around here have been raising with you? What's on their minds?
So most of the issues when you speak with the shop is antisocial behaviour. Residents, it's the electronic bikes. So we've had a lot of that, street drinking, antisocial behaviour, electronic bikes mainly. And then when we first come over, we found out that shopliftings and crimes in stores were really underreported, and we believe that was just purely down to people not really having a lot of faith in the reporting system.
More money for local policing then? More of you guys on the streets?
100%. I mean, the difference between the feel from the public from 3 months ago to now is palpable. It's so much different. And for me and my team, morale is so high because we're doing exactly what we want to do.
The public say they want more bobbies on the beat. But does this new community initiative mean fewer of those low-level crimes which are ruining lives? Rob Osborne, ITV News.
Anglesey Freeport has been given the green light by the UK and Welsh governments. The project is a partnership between Stena Line and Anglesey Council and will give the area special tax relief designed to promote investment and trade. It's hoped it'll create thousands of jobs and generate more than £570 million for the local economy. A man has been jailed after throwing a bag of white powder from his car during a 160 miles an hour police chase. Patrick Connors had spent years on the run after failing to appear in court when he was spotted by police in February. At Mole Crown Court today, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for dangerous driving and driving whilst disqualified. The boss of the Welsh Rugby Union has announced she'll be stepping away from her role for a period of time after being diagnosed with cancer. Abby Tierney was appointed as Chief Executive of the WRU 2 years ago, but says she'll be taking some time away to prioritise her health. Well, our sports reporter Matt Southcombe joins me now. Matt, sad news, what do we know?
Yeah, well, not a lot of detail has been released today, John, but what we do know is that Abby Tierney will continue to fulfil her duties as CEO of the Welsh Rugby Union until the end of next week. And at that point, she will step away to concentrate on her treatment and her recovery. Now, she has released a statement today, and part of that read, "This has not been an easy decision, but it is one I must make to focus fully on my health and recovery. I am grateful for the support I have already received from my family, friends and colleagues." Now, John, Welsh rugby at the moment is pretty divided, particularly at the administrative level. But today there was a united front from all corners of Welsh rugby wishing Abby Tierney well. And earlier on, I caught up with Ospreys CEO Lance Bradley.
Yeah, well, we were shocked when we got the announcement earlier on this morning. And, you know, personally, I've always enjoyed a good relationship with Abby, even when things have been challenging. She's always been very easy and reasonable to deal with. And obviously everybody at Ospreys wishes her all the very best. And her announcement that she's going to step back, you know, it is an important time for Welsh rugby, but you completely understand it. And as you say, it really does put everything in perspective.
And Matt, what's been the WRU's reaction to all this?
Well, John, it is a turbulent time for Welsh rugby at the moment. In the coming weeks, they will begin a consultation over proposals for the new reality of Welsh rugby. It's expected that they will push for a reduction of teams from 4 to 3 or even 2. Now, Abby Tierney and Director of Rugby Dave Reddin had been due to lead those consultations. Now Dave Reddin will lead them on his own. The union also say that Chair Richard Collier-Keywood will take an overall responsibility for the successful delivery of their new strategy. But to be honest, John, today is one of those days where sport really takes a back seat, and I'm sure that everyone in Welsh rugby and beyond will wish Abby Tierney well.
Indeed. Matt, thanks very much indeed. Now don't go anywhere, there's plenty more on the way.
Hello there, yes. Well, for those of us who can't take the heat, today has been a welcome day off. But I'm afraid after a drop of rain tomorrow, the sunshine will be back again, and so will I in a few minutes.
Plus, they're not everyone's cup of tea, but cockles have been enjoyed in Wales for centuries.
Yes, these little shellfish are highly prized, but from these humble mudflats to being sold around the world, I'll tell you soon what makes them so special.
Next, it'll be a night of anticipation for many 18-year-olds awaiting their A-level results tomorrow and considering their next steps. And there's a plea for young people to consider alternatives to university. The Welsh Government said it spent £120 million supporting more than 70,000 new apprenticeships during this Senedd term. Well, earlier this week, Minister Jack Sargent spoke to our reporter Carol Green about the benefits of an apprenticeship.
This is familiar territory for Jack Sargent. The Welsh Government's skills minister is a time-served machinist, starting his apprenticeship here on Deeside at the age of 17. As young people across Wales consider their options this month, he's keen for apprenticeships to be part of that conversation.
For companies like this and for companies across Wales, apprentices are the future of the economy. So when young people are making their choices in A-levels this week and in GCSE results week in a few weeks' time, then I'm really keen for them to consider an apprenticeship as a viable option. Earn whilst you learn and it's a real game changer.
Lawrence Coleman from Flint is coming to the end of his 4-year apprenticeship.
I've been here 6 months now at Bockard UK. It's, I'd like to say, the top of the food chain, the best of the best. You can't really get any better around here. Looking forward to finishing my time and hopefully staying here as a lifelong career. There's so much more you can do. It's not just the welding and the fabricating that they do here. There's many more avenues within the industry and the company itself. So you're not just getting experience in college, you're also getting real life experience in the workplace. So yeah, I'd say go for it. If you get offered it, take it, 100%.
Would you recommend an apprenticeship to other young people?
Definitely, it's definitely something that we're going to need in the future. So we need young people to be coming to do these things, and you're getting paid to learn at the end of the day.
We're in the process to doing this year's 2025 allocation, which we're looking to recruit a further 4 to 6 apprentices to start college as soon as the college starts again in September time.
How important are those young people to the growth of this business?
Yeah, they're really important. The work we do here in Bockard is very safety critical, nuclear standard, so getting the right apprenticeships, we're working with the right colleges, College Cambria, is absolutely vital to our success here in North Wales.
Companies like this one can only thrive with a pipeline of talent coming through, and a strong skills base is the lifeblood of a successful economy.
We're investing £144 million this year into apprenticeships. It's why we increased our flexible skills programme, which companies like Bockard are taking advantage of. We increased that 6 times in this year's budget, because skills really are important for the economy, and that's how we grow the economy, by growing our skills base.
Whatever results day brings for you, the message here is clear. University is just one of the paths to further and higher education. Carol Green, ITV News, Deeside.
It's 17 minutes past 6, time for a reminder of tonight's top story. Tributes have been paid to member of the Senedd Hefin David, who has died suddenly. Mr David represented his hometown constituency of Caerphilly for more than 10 years. The Prime Minister described him as a powerful voice for the people of Wales, and the First Minister said he was a much-loved member of the Labour family.
The Labour family is devastated by the sudden loss of Hefin David, and our thoughts go out to his family and friends at this incredibly difficult time. Hefin was an outstanding member for his constituency of Caerphilly. He was an enthusiastic member of the Senedd and contributed brilliantly to our committees. Our thoughts go out to all of those who are affected by this tragedy.
And there's plenty more ahead on the ITV Evening News. That's straight after this programme.
Coming up on tonight's ITV Evening News, police forces are to share suspects' ethnicity and nationality, and not everyone's in favour. We'll have reaction. The European wildfires forcing thousands to flee their homes. And why this branding is simply not cricket. Do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now this summer we're bringing you stories from some of Wales' most well-known food producers, celebrating the heritage and success of those products we're known for. This week we're digging into the history of cockling, a tradition that dates back to Roman times. Well, our West Wales reporter Lewis Rhys-Jones has been following the journey from shore to shelf.
A sun-kissed Lycha estuary on a summer's evening seems the most serene of places. And it's a place Brian Jones has dedicated all his working life to, carrying on a tradition that fetches back generations.
This is where the cockles live then?
Yes, this is their postcode here. They don't move very quickly there. When they start to spawn, they put themselves down, and this is where they'll be until we'll pick them away. It's a very primitive job, this is. When I started, we had a horse and cart out here, and that was very hard. It was cruel for the horse, it was cruel for us. And we gradually progressed onto a tractor, and went from a tractor, we've gone trucks and things like that, and quads. But it's basically the same job we go in now as I done way back in the day. It's where the rake bend your back, it's by the sweat of your brow, as they say.
Well, it's quite an eye-opener, to tell you the truth, how much work goes into cockling. When you do put the spade in the sand, there really is quite a pull. It's quite interesting because we've travelled half a mile in the truck just to come out to this estuary, and it's a big space. So you can imagine it's quite a battle when you've got tide to think about and time. But the picking is just the beginning, with the cockles then sent off to the family's factory.
So they've been gathered this morning, we wash them through some machinery, and then the cockles go into this hopper. They fall onto the conveyor belt, and within a few minutes these cockles will be boiled and ready to eat. But as you can see from the cockles going in, we can open the two halves up, and you can see the fleshy meat inside. So it's quite a small, delicate meat with mainly shell. The meat content we get from the cockle is probably only 14 or 15%. We store the empty shells, and then we have a contract to sell it to the sewage farms. It's very good for filtration and to absorb the smell from the sewage farms, so nothing is wasted here.
And with a growing number of people ordering their food online, Selwyn say the cockles cooked in the factory are often on people's tables in time for tea.
We've stayed true to our roots and the tradition of how they should be cooked, improved our cooking line and to make sure that the product is the very best it can be. But also we've had to move with the times, so we've had to find new and innovative ways to keep the company strong. You can obviously eat the cockles fresh in our shack, but you can also have them deep fried. A little bit naughty, but very tasty.
From Selwyn's days on the salt marshes to now, the Jones family are proud to be carrying on this beloved tradition, which is rooted in Welsh culture.
Well, Lewis joins me now from Penclawdd. Lewis, cockling clearly a tradition that's been tied to the area for donkey's years.
Well, you certainly could say that, John. It actually fetches back to the Roman times when commercial fisheries started setting up along the Lough estuary, which connects the Gower Peninsula and Llanelli, which you can see over my shoulder. I actually quite liked the way Brian referred to it as the cockle's local postcode. But if we look at, maybe a bit more recent than the Roman times, it was a couple of centuries ago that this tradition of cockle picking would have predominantly been done by women. And, they would have gone out with their donkeys or horse and cart if they could afford it. And they would have picked the cockles before making a 16-mile walk on foot to the Swansea market, where eager customers would be waiting to eat their cockles in time for tea. Now, I know you might have seen the pictures in our report and thought, wow, doesn't it look like the dream job? But at the same time, there are arduous conditions that the cocklers often face. So it's been a fascinating look into the world of cockling tonight, John.
Well, I love cockles, so Lewis, thanks for sharing that with us. Absolutely fascinating. Well, Ruth is here. Do you like a cockle?
Well, do you know what? Fond childhood memories of growing up, eating cockles. Saturday mornings used to be a trip to Swansea Market. Cockles with lots of salt and vinegar and the Welsh cakes as well.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Oh, there we are. So trip down memory lane, isn't it? Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And actually, weather-wise, cockles are quite adaptable. They don't mind quite a variation in temperature, but I'm told they don't like strong tides. I think we can all relate, because actually not a lot of us like the extreme temperatures we've had recently, do we? Yesterday, 32.8 Celsius, not far from here in Cardiff, was top of the leaderboard. Today has been very different. Many areas have dropped by almost 10 degrees, and that is quite a significant drop. And for those of you who don't like the heat, we have a temporary respite, not just today, but tomorrow as well. So the heat, I'm not going to say it's getting cooler. I think the best way of putting it is saying less hot. So today and tomorrow are slightly more comfortable. It's going to be a case of sunny spells at times through tomorrow, but we're also going to see some showers. Hooray, I hear so many of you saying, because we've been so desperate, but it is a one-day offering only, because by the time we get to the end of the week, it's back to almost business as usual. And I'll show you this on the bigger picture. Frontal system there, that little line is going to bring the showers through tonight actually and into tomorrow, but thereafter, high pressure will start to reassert itself. What does that mean? Well, it means that by we get into the start of the weekend and actually into much of next week as well, we see a return to those dry, sunny conditions, and the temperatures are going to be right back up into the high 20s again.
Today's forecast: blue skies, followed by a spread of hot and cold plates. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, it's actually another lovely warm evening out there. A little bit of a breeze starting to develop over the next few hours, and we'll see some clouds starting to filter in too, particularly across the southwest. And it's here that we could well see a little bit of patchy rain and drizzle. Nothing too heavy, but I'm sure it's going to be welcome news nevertheless. Temperatures, much like last night, remaining on the mild and muggy side, barely dipping below 17 or 18 Celsius. Again, out towards western areas, a little bit more in the way of breeze, so slightly more comfortable here. But it does mean it's going to be quite a gloomy start to tomorrow morning, and I've been promising you a change in the feel of the weather, and this is it. It's going to be a case of dodge the showers. Some of these could well be on the heavy side, some useful rain for gardeners, farmers and growers, I know. Into the afternoon, the heaviest of those showers will ease. We'll see the legacy of cloudier skies. We've still got moderate levels of UV though, so don't get caught out. But not surprisingly, the temperatures are going to be key. Much fresher than they have been even out there today. Actually, a dip of around 7 or 8 degrees for some. So coastal areas around 20 degrees will be your high. Further inland 23 or 24. Still not bad at all for the time of year. As we head through Thursday evening, though, any showers will disappear and the high pressure will start to reassert itself. And that means as we wake to Friday, it's going to be another bright and beautiful day. So Thursday really is a one-day offering, only a temporary blip because the sunshine will return. And yet again, we could see those temperatures starting to rise all over again. Not likely to hit the 30s that we've had recently, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility of high 20s as we head into the start of the weekend and actually into next week as well.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
So yeah, a little bit of rain tonight, a little bit of rain tomorrow, and after that it's a return to the dry and sunny conditions, which not everybody loves, let's face it, John.
A bit of rain, but it's a good balance.
Both, so it's a good mix.
Just before we go, don't forget there's plenty more from us at ITV Cymru Wales over at ITVX with lots of new content updated every single day. Head to the ITVX app on your smart TV and click categories, then news, and there you can catch up with all the latest Wales at Sixes, as well as exclusive features and our other programmes like Ruth's Coast and Country and Backstage. It's exactly the same on your mobile and tablet too. And that's it. Liam McConkey will be back with the late update. That's after news at 10. But from me and all the team, thanks for watching.